Main difference between Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 is that in a Web 1.0 environment, the previous generation of the internet, a lot of information was provided by content providers and only consumed by the end users. In the Web 2.0 environment, it is something we call the read-write web, where people can actually actively contribute and respond to content they've seen on the network itself. And this allows us to hugely increase the capture of knowledge and information in the world. I think the main drivers behind what drives Web 2.0 adoption in the world comes down to consumer behavior. So consumers now want to determine what it is they are watching, what it is they're consuming from a content information perspective, but they also want to contribute themselves towards that content. So consumer behavior, the young generation coming in, now have a certain behavior of always on, always connected, always want real-time access to information when it happens. There's, of course, the media becoming more digital. As the media is now digital, it gives a lot more flexibility in how media is produced, how it's consumed, how it's distributed across the network. This is multimedia, so this is not just about text, it's about audio, it's about video, all being in a digitized format. And the third one that really enables this consumer behavior is the multimedia access devices that we now have nowadays access to. So this means that your television is not just a television anymore, it can also be a telephone, it can also be an access to the internet, and it allows interactivity. That's the main difference also, is you can now interact with the content on the other side. And the same applies for the telephone. The telephone also allows you access to multiple channels of information with the same device. I think the main place where Cisco gets involved in Web 2.0 is to look for opportunities where these technologies, adoption of these technologies and these behaviors can drive increases in productivity for companies. Also, we see a lot of business models changing in the world as a result of Web 2.0 adoption in the world. Is we see now less interaction of companies only within the enterprise walls, but now there's a lot more interactivity and information needed to share information and to collaborate across the boundaries of the typical enterprise. And we call this the extra prize, where now companies within their business model have to interact with a lot of business partners. And what they need is a rich experience using multimedia communication collaboration technologies, having the same reliability, having the same security as if you were on your own intranet. So this is what Cisco really is looking into, is how do we enable cross-company and into the extra prize full rich collaboration functionalities. So some examples of this is the recent acquisition of Cisco of WebEx, where we provide a full multimedia platform where people can now have voice communication, meetings, training sessions for their employees, but also for their partners on the outside. It allows collaboration across any boundaries at a very good quality of experience. It also allows things like telepresence to come into play, where people can now have a much richer experience of collaborating across companies using some features like telepresence, which is a very high-end solution for almost like a real-time interactivity that we allow to happen. We also, in recent acquisitions of Cisco, you will see Cisco going into creating a full experience cross collaboration functionality. So beyond WebEx, beyond voice communication, beyond video communication, also allowing for calendaring, for real-time interactive communication, like you typically would see on real-time text communications. It allows also for calendaring even, as well as email. And the way we will mostly take this to market is as software as a service. Software as a service is one of those changes we've seen coming along because of Web 2.0, a new business model, as well as new adoption of technologies, where people now do not need on-premises equipment. And what they can do is just buy a subscription. Through subscription, they can buy a service, and they can actually, in future, buy a full-featured service that embraces everything for collaboration, including voice, video, email, calendaring, real-time communication, as well as then workflow management of these projects as a subscription service. So without having to do all of the CapEx investment up front, you only use it while you need it, and when you don't need it anymore, you can actually unsubscribe to the service. I think it's inevitable for companies now to start adopting and embracing technology of Web 2.0. One of those is they are getting a young workforce. Everybody coming new into the companies are now demanding that kind of work behavior in terms of having access to information all the time, and also publishing information very quickly so that people can have access to it. We also see now the business models have changed so much that companies cannot afford anymore to isolate themselves as an enterprise and isolate themselves from this technology, because it makes their competitors more competitive. So as we see all companies adopting these type of technologies, if you want to be one of the leaders in terms of productivity increases, collaboration, and moving fast to market with your products, that is something that most companies will have to adopt now to increase productivity, increase collaboration, and increase awareness of the products. Besides Web 2.0 technologies, we'll also have a lot of interesting topics for people to be educated about, but I think the real value of this event is about the interaction. Interaction with executives from Cisco, interaction with the consulting engineers. We will be bringing a whole group of very knowledgeable and experienced consulting engineers from throughout the world to be available for interaction and also education of people attending the event.